Hello, you guys. How are you doing? I trust that you're well. I'm also fine. I'm here enjoying these yummy snacks that I just finished making for my family. I have some samosas, some yummy samosas, some pigs in a blanket, and some delicious donuts. So in today's video, I will show you how I went about making them. We will do the whole process. I even made samosa packets from scratch. You will see how that went on. It gave me character development at first, but finally I managed to do it. So stick around. I am going to start by making the dough that we will use to make the pigs in a blanket and also the donuts, and for that we'll need 2 cups of warm milk, a tablespoon of salt, 4.5 teaspoons of dry yeast, 6 tablespoons of melted margarine or butter if you have, 6 tablespoons of sugar, and 6 cups of all-purpose flour. In the mixing bowl, I'm going to add the sugar and the milk, and remember the milk is warm, about 43 degrees Celsius. If you have a kitchen thermometer, you can measure that. And I'll also add the dry yeast. Mix that up until it mixes completely, and then I'll set it aside so that the yeast can activate. 5 minutes later and our yeast has activated. It's all bubbly and looking nice. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the salt and the margarine. I'm using margarine because I didn't have butter. If you have butter, you can use that. And then I'm going to add the flour slowly as I stir until a dough forms. Then I will transfer the dough onto the surface and knead it and knead it and knead it until it becomes soft. By the way, did I mention that I'm doing this for the first time? So all these items that I'm making, from the samosas, the donuts, the pigs in a blanket, these are all new recipes that I'm trying today. The samosa packets humbled me in the beginning, but eventually I was able to hack it. I was able to make them, and everything turned out well for a first timer, that is. I've realized I keep saying samosa packets. I mean pockets, samosa pockets. I am making a large amount of dough so that I can split it in half, use half for the pigs in a blanket and the other half for the donuts. The recipe is the same, the ingredients are the same, so instead of making 2 separate doughs in smaller amount, I decided to double the recipe and make one big dough at once. The oil in the bowl is for preventing the dough from sticking onto the bowl. I will also apply some oil onto the top of the dough to keep it from drying out and forming a crust. I will then cover the dough and set it aside to let it rise. I'll give it about an hour. It's been so hot lately, so I'm sure an hour will be enough for the dough to rise properly. In the meantime, I'm going to make the samosa fillings. I will be using minced meat to fill up the samosas, and for the pigs in a blanket, I am using mini bites. So here they are. They are already ready to eat, so you can just use them as they are, but I like to kind of grill them on a pan a little bit to give them a nice color and improve the taste a bit. We are also going to be baking the pigs in a blanket, so they will be in the oven. These mini bites will still cook in that process, so really you can use them as they are and it will be fine. This is just an extra process for me. If it's your first time here, welcome to my channel. I hope you are enjoying this video. My name is Agnes, and in this channel you will find such videos: cooking, cleaning, homemaking, and all that good stuff. So I hope you will consider subscribing and becoming a member of this family. And for my returning subscribers, thank you. Thank you so much for always being here. Thank you for your support, for your continued support. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. It really goes a long way. It helps the video to reach to more people, and it also helps the channel to grow. And now into the pan goes the minced meat. I am using beef. I'm going to cook it until it's well cooked. Then I'll add some spices, some red onions and coriander leaves or cilantro, and this is what we are going to use to put in our samosa pockets. So this will be the filling for the samosas. Here I am adding some salt to the meat, and for the spices I will use curry powder, paprika and garam masala. At this point the meat is already cooked. The spices have infused nicely with the meat and it's giving a really nice aroma. So when I add the onions, I won't let the onions cook completely, so I'll just stir and stir a bit and then add the cilantro and then put out the fire and our filling will be ready. The dough has risen. It's been an hour and these are the results. It looks really good. So I'm going to start with the pigs in a blanket, and for that I'm going to roll the dough into a big circle and then cut it into small triangles or crescents, and then I'll use that to wrap the mini bites. And after that I will leave them to rise for another 30 to 40 minutes. Then I will put them in the oven and bake for 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. So this is what we have ended up with. This is how they look, and I will put them aside to continue rising for some minutes, and as that happens I will work on the donuts. For the donuts, I will roll out the dough and then cut it into small pieces like so, and then I will make balls with those pieces, and then I will roll out those balls and flatten them and then cut the middle part. Then leave them for about 30 minutes to rise and then fry them in hot oil. And here is how the pigs in a blanket turned out. I cooked them in the top rack. I placed them on the top rack. That's why they browned so much on the top. I should have put them in the middle rack. I have never even baked on the top rack. I don't know what came over me and I decided to do that. But even though they are a bit browner than I would have wanted, they still look fine. So these ones in the small pan I put them on the middle rack, and that's the golden color that I was looking for. The other ones you can see are more brown, but all the same they cooked right and they were super delicious. So there I was just brushing them with some melted margarine to give them that shiny glow. When I was frying the first batch of donuts, I used high heat. The oil was super hot and they started browning almost immediately when I put them in the oil. As you can see there, they're looking much darker than the other ones. That is because they browned too early, so as they were cooking, they continued to brown and they ended up with that deep brown color. But again, they were well cooked, they were tasty, they were delicious. It's fine. I am learning. So at this point I decided I want glazed donuts, and to achieve that, while the donuts were still hot, I made this chocolate glaze using cocoa powder, powdered sugar and milk, and then this other one I used powdered sugar and milk. So now I will dip the chocolates in, and then I will add sprinkles. On some I will add colored sprinkles, on some I'll add chocolate sprinkles, and some I will add desiccated coconut to make them all yummier. Now I want to make the samosa pockets, and to start off I will make dough using 3 cups of flour and a teaspoon of salt. I'll mix that really well and then add water gradually as I form the dough. Way back a year ago, I've changed for... This is my second attempt today to make these samosa pockets. The first time I made the dough and it turned out to be too soft and too stretchy. It was so hard to work with. I really tried to salvage it, but eventually I had to discard it because it wasn't working. So now I have made the dough and I'm going to let it rest for a bit and then come back and work on it. I'll be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays. Way back a year ago. The process here is a bit similar to the donuts. So I'm rolling the dough just like I did for the donuts, and then cutting into small pieces and making balls. And then after I make all the balls, I'm going to now flatten them, roll them out to flatten them. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going live. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through
as they were a year ago. But all will be okay, I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays.
Now that I have rolled out all of them, I'm going to pile them one on top of the other. But before I do that, I'm going to apply some oil and some flour to keep them from sticking to each other. Then after that, I am going to roll them together as one unit into a bigger circle. The point is to make them as thin as possible so that we end up with thin sheets, which we are then going to transform into the pockets. I will roll them very gently, very lightly, and very slowly, because in my previous attempt, this is where everything fell apart. As I am showing you there, so when I started rolling them, they just started spreading out so far, so thin. They lost shape and I couldn't control it. I was doing it lightly, but they were just spreading out. The shape was oval and it was too big for the pan, so I decided to cut into two so that I can dry them out on the pan in two batches. But then as I was picking them up, I realized this was not going to work. Now that they were just stretching out, they had stuck on the surface, but I still tried. So I dried them on the pan and ended up with those sheets. I tried really hard to salvage them, but eventually I just had to discard them and start all over again. So this fresh batch that I'm making, it still ended up being larger than the pan, but at least this one was manageable. So I was folding it in half and drying it out one half at a time, and then turn over and peel off one sheet and continue like that until all of them were done.
Chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
After I was done with all of them, I lined them up and then I cut off the edges. I used a plate, a big round plate, to guide me so that I could get that perfect circle. The edges did not go to waste. I did not throw them. I instead fried them and we ate them as a snack. And look at that, we ended up with a perfect circle. They look so nice. At this point I was feeling so proud of myself because I have always found samosas to be really intimidating to make. It's a lot of work, but here we are. I made them, I made the pockets, and now I'm going to fill them with the meat that we previously made and then fry them with hot oil, and that's it. I tried using a brush to seal them. For sealing, I am using a paste that I made with flour and water. I just mixed some flour with water, and the brush was just slowing me down. So eventually, I ended up switching to my hands. So I started using my fingers to seal off the pockets, and it went faster. And yeah, first time making samosas, and here we go, my very first samosa. If you're out there and like me, you've always been intimidated by samosas because they look like it's a lot of work to make them, let me encourage you. I did it. You can too. It wasn't that bad, even though I made a few mistakes with the pockets. I ended up getting it, and now in my second time of making them, I will know exactly what to do, and it will be even an easier process. So be encouraged. And if you're there watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, kindly take a second and do that. It is really helpful to this channel. It helps the channel grow, so please kindly consider subscribing.
Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
And that's it for this video, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed. I hope that you will try one or all of these recipes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.
I move on each and every day. The past is where